So welcome back to part 2, and in it we are going to create this divider pocket. So I put this in its own video. So it has a zip and a slip pocket, which is really handy for like bottles and things. It is a bit floopsy because once this is stuffed it kind of holds its own. When it's empty it is a bit floopsy. But this is what we are working on today, is just this section. So first things first, we've got zips. Now there are 2 number 5 zippers in this pattern. One belongs in the divider pocket, which is the smaller one, and then we have one for the closure, which is the longer one. Obviously we don't need this one yet, but we're going to make them together because it just saves time. So I've just got them in stages here, and then I've got a bit of spare just to show you. So this was what we call the open end, and then this will be your closed end. So run a few stitches across your closed end to stop your zipper flying off, and then from your open end measure down 1 inch on both sides. And then you want to fold the zipper back at the 1 inch like I've done with this one, and just run a few stitches on the outer edge, not many. And once you've done that, you can see that it naturally wants to fold. So we're going to tuck and fold to bring that edge up alongside the underneath of the teeth, and you'll see that it's making this lovely flat right angle. And then we can add some more stitches here to hold it in place. So again, tuck that in, give it a fold, and so, and what you'll end up with is like this one. So it's flat. Hopefully they will be even. And do this on both. So obviously I'll finish this one up in a second. This was just a spare bit, so put that out of the way. So we're using the smaller one. So once you've done your open end, we are going to add the zipper tab to the closed end. It's just my iron. Ah, there it is. So the zipper tab is 2 inches long. What I've done is I folded it in half to find the center line, pretty much what we've done with the handle and the connectors. And I've brought the short ends in to meet this center line, and then I'll fold it again. So this is now a 1/2 inch wide, and then it's I think it's 1 1/4 this way. And we're literally going to slip the end into this fold and sew them together. Sew them together alongside this end so it stays neatly tucked in. Like that. So I have my zipper and we're ready to do the divider pocket. Grab one of your accented divider pieces, and on the right edge, I'll just place that there. Gonna take your zipper right side down, so these are right side together, and it's gonna sit 3/4 of an inch in from this right side edge. Mark it first if you want, or just use your ruler like I have to place it. And then we're going to base stitch these together along the edge. You only need to base the zipper section. If you want to, I'm still talking, I know, switch to a zipper foot. So I'm going to do that now. And once you've basted them together, grab one of the lining divider pieces and we're going right sides together, and this time we're sewing all the way across. Now because we've used a number 5 zipper, we can use a 3/8 seam allowance. If you're not comfortable with that, go for a 1/4 inch, that's absolutely fine. If you have also used a number 3 zipper instead, again, go for a 1/4 inch seam allowance. If in doubt, just make it smaller. It's no big deal. But I'm going to go for a 3/8 and all the way across using a regular stitch length. So I've sewn them in place. I don't know if the camera picks up, but there is a pigeon right outside the window. He's obviously having a jolly old time, making a lot of noise. So if you can hear a hoo hoo hoo, it's the pigeons. So I'm going to open these up now. And what I like to do is press them now, press the lining one, and then refold, and then press this one. So these are now wrong sides together. Give them a press, and then we're going to top stitch all the way across. So it's top stitched, it's looking lovely. And we're going to do the same again, but from the opposite side. So on the first piece we went 3/4 inch from the right. This time we're going 3/4 inch from the left. And we're going to do the basting first. So along the edge, baste these together. And then same again, grab your remaining lining divider piece, and we're matching up the top edge here. And all the way across, sewing together using the same seam allowance. So that would either be your 3/8 or a 1/4 inch if you went for the smaller one. So same again. And then once they're sewn together, we can take that piece and press them, and then top stitch again, just like we did here. So this is coming together now. So you can do up your zipper, and then what we're going to do is bring the lining pieces together. So on the outside you've got the 2 accented pieces, inside you've got the 2 lining pieces. Fold it in half, and then we're going to base stitch around the outside, so all the way around the outside. Don't base stitch any of this middle bit. So they are together. We're going to make that lovely slip pocket bottle holder thing. We are going in 7 inches in from the side without the zip. So we've got the zipper here, and ideally that takes you about 3/8 to 1/2 inch between the zipper. I'm using a razor board fabric marker. Whether I'll be able to see it or not, yes I can. Be warned, obviously those markers are not the best for disappearing, but this is inside, so I'm not worried. I'm going to sew down here using a regular stitch length to divide this into 2. And that is our divider done and split. Now we can add our gusset. Now the gusset is split into 4 pieces, just to, you know, keep you on your toes. So it's split in half, and then there's a topper on each end. So obviously half needs to go, one each side of this divider. On the pattern pieces, you have your divider top marking guide thingy. Transfer them over. That goes on the flat side, because you have a flat side and a slightly curved side. If you're not sure which is which, gently fold it in half. You can see this end is smaller. That's the curved side. So where I had folded the fabric to obviously cut it on the fold, I do have this crease. If you don't have a crease, fold the piece in half and mark where the center is. Then we need to lightly, if you can, lightly or not lightly, fold the gusset, not gusset, divider pocket to find the center of that too. There it is. So this is the same kind of way of putting the outer bag together. So you've got this panel. Obviously double check that you've got the flat edges. Mark it first if you need to. If you need to write, this is the side you need. And we're going to match up the centres. First. Now here's where the difference is. That top marker there is for obviously the top of the divider. So you want it to overhang because it's harder to sew this. You need to sew this top bit on after. So it needs to overhang. And then we're going to clip the curved parts together. If you find, for whatever reason, you have too much in this corner, it might be that this was sewn just a little bit shorter, you know, things happen. If you have too much gusset in this corner that you literally can't work it, shimmy this up. Just make sure that you do it on the same on both sides, otherwise you're going to end up with a lopsided divider. We're going to sew these together using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so from the top all the way round. And then once you've sewn them together, flip this over. I'm going to do the same again. So make sure it's the straight edge and not the one with the curvy top. And this time you can match up the tops . Right, so again, we're going to sew them together, but this time we're using our 3/8 seam allowance. Just make sure that when you're sewing, this back side isn't doing any funny business. It's not doing that, or it's not trying to fold itself over. So just keep an eye on what both sides are doing. So just take your time, but 3/8. And this time we're going right from the top, all the way around. There we go. So we have sewn half of the gusset on one side and half on the other. I am going to trim the seam allowances. I'm just going to do it after. And I will say that I did accidentally catch mine. So it just needs unpicking a few, tidying up. You know, stuff happens. It's fine. It's in the corners. We don't worry about those. Now we can add the tops, the little tops. So this is not a rectangle. So you've got two short sides and two long sides, but one is longer than the other. If you fold it in half, you'll be able to see which is the longest side, and that's the side we need. I'm going to open up the seam allowances so that they're flatter. And this is going right sides together, and they should, in theory, match up width-wise if everything's gone good, gone to plan. I'm going to do this one as well while we're at it, because otherwise I'm just going to say, oh, and redo it. I might as well just do it now. And then we're going to sew them together, so across the top and across the top using regular seam allowance. Then once you've sewn those tops on, with the seam allowances facing upwards, you can press the fabric if your fabric allows, and top stitch to hold everything in place. So up and top stitch. There we go, and that is our divider finished. Obviously you can trim the seam allowances down now. And that is one complete gusset with a divider pocket in it. See, that wasn't too terrifying. So that is video 2 done. If you have any questions, please pop them down below and I will answer as soon as I can, or come on over to the Facebook group. Otherwise, I will see you in part 3 for the zipper bridge and the final construction. There we go.